I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, live fire, fun, and survival show. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. And it's something I have been teasing for weeks, if not months. And tonight is the night it all comes to fruition, if you can believe it or not. There will be no less than at least $600 worth of pepper grinders, totaling three units between me and my guest, Dr. Barbecue, Ray Lampe, Barbecue Hall of Famer, Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, multiple-time author, TV show host, contestant, chef, spokesperson, the list goes on. You know Dr. Barbecue. The proprietor of Dr. Barbecues in the greater metropolitan Tampa area. We will have 3 pepper grinders at our disposal, but not more than 3, totaling $600. For instance, right here, if you're watching on video, if you're podcasting, you'll have to go back and check it out here. I have a very silver-looking pepper grinder that is $200. I also have, of course, the black pepper grinder right here. You know it as the Pepper Cannon. Cleve Owens was on the show talking about it. $200 retail unit. And then Ray also has a version of the Black Rain, but that was the silver one that I was showing you on the picture. That's $200. So quick math tells you that between the two of us, there's $600 of pepper grinders, and I'm going to champion the Pepper Cannon. Ray will be championing the Black Rain, and we have a host of paces to put them through in hopes of deciding which $200 pepper grinder will end up being the one I recommend and then which one Ray would recommend. Because here's the bottom line. I continue to say $200 pepper grinder, and you continue to say no. But the bottom line is there is a market for it, however niche or niche as it may be. There's a market for it. They're selling. The guy that created Black Rain is selling them. The guy that created the Pepper Cannon is selling them. So somebody's buying them. And especially now as we close out 2022, if you're looking for a unique gift, if you know somebody is really into black pepper, cracked black pepper, being able to control the grind, something that will be the next one and forever pepper grinder they will ever get in their life, then this is something you're going to want to watch and take notes on. Perhaps touch base with either Dr. Barbecue or myself after the fact, because we have had extensive experience, hands-on experience. Me with both ends, both the Black Rain and the Pepper Cannon, and then Ray with the Black Rain. So it seems like it's a hot mess of a segment, but no. When you put a Hall of Famer on the docket and you have somebody that is established and such an entertainer as I am and one that knows how to make segments happen from a production standpoint, this can only live to what we hope would be mediocrity. 35 past the hour, we will find our regular visiting guest in the fourth Tuesday, 35 past, Derrick Riches from DerrickRiches.com. So we'll quickly talk about any last-second Thanksgiving tips that he has. It's Tuesday, and Thanksgiving's Thursday. So if you haven't taken the turkey out of the freezer, you can very unsafely defrost it. I don't suggest that. You might be screwed in a safety way, but we'll talk about it. And then, as time allows, something that has basically taken me a year to get to, blue steak. And as time allows, we will get to the internal temperaturing of your pork ribs. Seem weird? Seem like a travesty? Seem like nobody's really doing that? No, you're probably falling behind at this point. I remember when I started temping my ribs about a year ago after hearing about it for a year from DBQ, made all the difference in consistency in my rib cook. So that's what we'll be talking about Derrick with. Then we'll move to the second hour. And it is the fourth Tuesday. And in the second hour, you know where we're going. The Embedded Correspondents show up again. John, Rusty, Doug. We're going to be talking about a brand new round of 100% Assurity Questions. So if you're taking me in through Clubhouse, stay there. You have an opportunity at 10:14 Eastern to come on and answer the Assurity Questions with us. That's 100% yes or no only. And then we have some other topics to dive into once we're done with those, not the least of which is our own personal reviews of what is on its farewell tour, allegedly, for McDonald's, the McRib. And we will also then touch on the second mandated item, the seared tips from Beyond Meat. Could we find them? How did we like them? If we found them, all that good stuff. So that's how the show is laying out here this evening. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat at BBQ Central Show. Live streams of the show going on right now between Facebook and Twitch. Also over on YouTube, where we have a this week's poll going up. Are you going to inject your turkey? Are you going to brine your turkey? Or are you going to do both to your turkey this coming Thursday? You can weigh in on the YouTube instant poll, and we'll look at those results through the balance of the show. Also, we say hello to those of us that are using the Clubhouse platform to listen to us audibly and not look at us visibly. Show feedback from last week. Sam in New Jersey writing in, Greg, really enjoyed the Sterling Smith interview from last week. I appreciate that he came so close to the World Food Championships title last year in barbecue and doubled down his efforts to try and get it this year. It seems like hard work is paying off for Sterling. I've had his rubs before. I enjoy them. Thanks for a great interview. Regards, Sam. By the way, I listen to podcast only. Well, Sam, thank you for writing in. And hopefully Smitty gets this on podcast or he's watching live now and hears what a fan you were of his segment. Bill in Kentucky writing in. Greg, I know you get a lot of emails talking about how much people enjoy your segments with Sam, the cooking guy, because of the witty banter you guys have and share between each other. Might I suggest that a close second to Sam is Jess Pryles? I thought the segment Tuesday night was great. I have heard her on other podcasts before, and she seems to stay pretty on topic with those people. However, she was much more relaxed when she's on your show, and it's fun to see a different side of her. Great show, and keep up the great work. Regards, Bill. Bill, thank you for writing in. And closing it out here for feedback on the show from last week, Don in Texas writing in. Greg, I've been listening to your podcast for about a year now, and I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate what you're doing for us and the barbecue fanatics. The expertise of your guests and the diversity of subjects you discuss is outstanding and enlightening. My question is about your barbecue sauce. The first time I made it, I didn't have Texas pepper jelly pineapple habanero, but I do now. How much of the jelly should I use in the base recipe? Thanks again, and keep up the great work. Regards, Don. Don, thank you for writing in. Well, here's the bottom line, Don. You don't need, when you get that recipe after you sign up for the newsletter, you don't need Texas pepper jelly. It is not a staple requirement as all of the other ingredients are. To me, those are staple ingredients. Texas pepper jelly is something that is a little bit extra. Take it over the top, add a little bit of sweetness. Pineapple habanero will also add a little bit of heat. If you really want to amp up the heat, use cayenne pepper as well. Whatever you like, whatever your heat tolerance is. But to me, and after you're done cooking it, you get it to the color, the consistency that you want. You pull the pan off the heat, and then you go to your jar of pineapple habanero from Texas pepper jelly. I say start with half, and if you really like it, then just dump the whole thing in there. It's not going to overpower it. It'll add a little bit more of a habanero kick. That's more back end for me, not front like it is for a jalapeno. And that heat will build a little bit. It really set the sauce off, in my opinion. However, you don't need it. So if you have it, I suggest you try it, buy it. Craig makes a great product. Craig Sherry out there, Texas pepper jelly. Put in half first, evaluate, and then make adjustments on the next round. Easy enough. All right, folks, it's week 22. Here we go. David Leans and the David Leans Barbecue BOD program. DavidLeans.com/BBQ to sign up right now. Well, guess what? After a couple weeks of not really moving the needle at all because of where the diet was. Remember, I had that crazy mouth sore that prohibited me from eating for the better part of a week and lost weight. Well, now we're heading in the right direction. So what's changed, you might ask? Well, adherence to the eating schedule. I'm not a huge eater, but got to have the calories in if you want to put on the weight, which is what we're looking to do. So adherence to that, eating the breakfast, eating the snack, eating the dinner, having nice protein supplements going on as well to help build that muscle, adhering to the workout program, all great stuff, getting the steps in. That has all allowed me to start hitting the weight goals that we're looking to. So we were 173 on Monday, yesterday, and we're looking to add 12 more pounds to the goal weight of 185 muscular pounds. I invite you, as we draw closer to the year, to check out David's program. Get in contact with him and ask questions. DavidLeans.com/BBQ to sign up. He's also available to text and video message. You can call him. When you check in every week, he gives you the tweaks on what you should be doing next to get you where you want to go. But the bottom line is this. No matter what condition you're in, he's going to meet you where you're at now. You guys will figure out where you want to get to, and then he makes the plan. You just have to commit to it. Why not have somebody hold you accountable and get you where you want to go starting in 2023? But don't start in January. Start now. Get in the lifestyle now. So when the new calendar year hits, it will be a little bit more svelte to you. DavidLeans.com/BBQ. We're back with the $200 Peppermill Challenge with our pal, Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also check out that website to see what other great products that Chris Becker and the gang have over there to add a little smoky goodness to whatever it is you're cooking. Cookin, C-O-O-K-I-N, CookinPellets.com. Check out or to order. My first guest tonight needs no introductions, has appeared on this show in some form or fashion since 2006, an accomplished barbecue cook and author, appears on TV shows, a pitchman, a brand ambassador, a barbecue Hall of Famer, but most importantly, a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer and also one of my favorite guys to talk about food with. But tonight, mostly our second passion project, which of course is Pepper. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Who knew that aside from barbecue, our shared passion project all these years, 16 to be exact, has been pepper? I mean, how much do you love pepper?
Well, we like cool toys. Let's be honest about that. We're both obsessed with anything related to barbecuing, whatever that may be. And this is just the latest thing. That's how I look at it.
I was introduced to the realm or the niche of high dollar pepper grinders. It's been a number of months by somebody called Cleve Owens. He's the, I guess, creator or the guy that brought to market the thing called the pepper cannon. And the thing that stuck out to most people was this guy was asking for $200 for a Peppermill. Now, if you go to anybody's house, maybe they don't even have an El Cheapo Peppermill. They just have the already powdery version of pepper that goes in what would be akin to a salt shaker, except it's a pepper shaker, and that's how they get their pepper. Then there's a little bit more of an elevated palate. Maybe you like some pepper on a salad, or you want to bring it, as I said, to the next level. So you get a Peppermill of some sort, but a lot of people don't really give it a second thought. It's something that sits there. Maybe it runs out. Maybe it goes stale. You toss it out because it costs somewhere between $5 or $15, and it's a consumable item. So how are you introduced to high dollar Peppermills?
Well, and let me touch on that for a second. Sure. I think the reason we all have blown off those Peppermills is because they're just not very good. We all like pepper. How many recipes call for freshly grated ground black pepper? And we kind of blow it off and end up buying one of these things, full of crushed pepper because it's just easier. I mean, I know I got a fancy one from Marshall Fields. I've got this one here that I know some of the barbecue guys were hawking. Remember, it's got the thing on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a bunch of them around here, and none of them ever stuck with me. Now, ask me again in a year if this one has stuck with me, but so far, so good. So a friend of mine that I've been on, she used to be a TV host here in Tampa, and I've been doing the same shows for years around here, called me and said, "Hey, Ray, my friend," it's like a David Allen Coe song, "my friend has invented the world's greatest Peppermill, and he wants to send you one." And I was like, I can't say no to that. Heck yeah, send it on. And he sent it, and I haven't tried every Peppermill in the world, but it's very different, and it's very modern, and it's got the things that we think about modern stuff now, as opposed to the grinders that we all had in the past. So I was really intrigued by it. So I posted a picture of it on Facebook, and you and some other people came at me and said, "Oh my God, you never tried the pepper cannon." And I said, "Well, no, I haven't." That was my first. So just so everybody knows, ours is on introductory special for $149, not $200. I'm technically not working for him yet, but I sort of feel like I've taken that side in this argument. So I'm going to refer to him as ours. But it's really that it's a game changer, I think. Now, I have not tried the pepper cannon, and from what I hear, it's pretty good too. So we figured we'd get down to this and let's get serious about it. So you want my pitch on mine?
Let me ask you this first, because I think it is somewhat important. We could be looking like shills, independent of these pepper grinders. Are you being compensated at all, aside from getting a Peppermill sent to you, but which I've been very upfront? Both the pepper cannon and the black rain were sent to me at no cost to me. Are you getting paid in any other form or fashion? You're representing or anything like that as we get ready to go here?
No, there's discussion that maybe we will in the past. I'm not that worried about it. I've represented a lot of products and always been upfront about it. This one, I'm not on the payroll at this time. Maybe I will be at some point, but it's a Peppermill. It's expensive Peppermill, but this isn't like a giant grill company, so I'm not expecting this to take over my career. However, you never know. It's pretty nice product, but no, I'm not being paid by this. It is a friend of mine that sent it to me. I really think it's a cool product, and this just turned into a fun thing.
This better not turn into something where you are like where you had the relationship with the ceramic cooker, because you can't have the name Dr. Pepper. That's already been taken.
Yeah, that's right.
That would be legal.
I was always
issues.
mad that they didn't, when they were hiring Dr. J and some of them people. I was always mad they wouldn't hire me. I think I even sent off a couple emails, but apparently I wasn't a big enough doctor.
That's all right. So, give me your pitch on Black Rain, and then we'll go ahead and start putting these through their tests.
Well, so when it came to me, the first thing you notice is it's really nice. It's aluminum, and it's made, like machined almost. It's got it turns out the guy's a watchmaker that designed it, and his goal was to make it was on his back burner that one of these days he was going to create the coolest peppermill ever, and he finally got around to doing it. So it's really nice looking. It's got so you plug it in with a little mini USB cord, and it'll grind 10 pounds of pepper on one charge. This is the thing that sets it apart. It's 5 settings. I keep moving it the wrong way. There's 5 specific settings. On mine, there's 5 little notches. I think there's somewhat a gradient, but 5 little clicks for what coarseness you want. So if you want it real coarse or real fine, but they're going to be consistent every time, and you don't have to go reaching around on the bottom of the thing like every other peppermill I've ever owned. You have to try to spin that wheel, and you really don't know. You keep testing it, and the consistency and the ease of checking that. And then it's got a really nice light, which is kind of funny, but it's nice when you're going to put pepper on something. It's just really functional in the house and looks good. I think it's a step above any peppermill I've ever seen. I think the guy has invented the coolest peppermill ever.
Now, I am pitching for the Pepper Cannon. As I had mentioned a handful of months ago, I'm introduced through one of my pals. You know him too, Sean Walchef from Cali Barbecue out there in California. He has the CEO of Launch Boom on one time. I end up interviewing that guy, and then lo and behold, a month or two later, we're talking to somebody that had gone through the Launch Boom college of some form or fashion, and here he's got this $200 pepper grinder, and he'd reached out to me after the fact. I immediately asked him to come on the show just to talk about his experience with Launch Boom, since that had been a tie back to a previous guest. And he said, boy, I'd just love to send you one of these pepper grinders and see what you think. And so he sent it off to me, and I started using it. And where ours are now going to differ is, as I open it up, here's a shot from the bottom here. So I do have to reach underneath and make my adjustments in order for finer grind. However, unlike most other ones that you're going to have to go under the hood, make these adjustments on, there are tangible clicks. There's 36 clicks going to either direction, fine, all the way 36 clicks, or all the way back 36 clicks to get you to what would be, I guess, akin to a cracked pepper or the largest grind that you could get. So depending on how you like your pepper, you can kind of set it and forget it, but if you want to make adjustments, you will have to continually make your adjustments to finer or larger on your chunk. Is that big of a deal to me? No. I would make the sell, of course, that I am able to continually adjust mine instead of being stuck at 5, although I don't know how many adjustments I would make more than 5. So I think Black Rain certainly has an idea of taking a lot of the consumer's choice away from them without having them realize that they might be missing it one way or the other. So there's 36 clicks here. And then as far as refilling, which has always been my pet peeve on having the old half-ass pepper mills, you have to unscrew a nut at the top. It's very awkward. Maybe you lose the nut, it runs underneath and goes underneath the dishwasher, and now you're stuck trying to refill it. Do you have a funnel that's small enough? Are you going to cup your hand over it? Here, you can see right here at the top, there's a push button. This pops off, and now we're going to do the fill contest here in a second or two. You have this nice deep cavity, and then when you're done, you simply put the top back on here, and it has a nice satisfying click, and away you go. So, again, hard, black anodized aluminum. Both of these, Ray, I believe we would say could double as a weapon. If somebody came into your house, you club somebody over the head with the Black Rain or the Pepper Cannon, they're at least leaving with a concussion, if not caving in the side of their face. And you might have to answer some questions there.
Yeah, substantial, I would say. I don't have
Yeah.
that one in my hand, but you said it's very similar in that case. It's substantial. We joke about and mine opened similarly to reload it. I actually filled it already. I actually have a window too, so you can see how full it is with the window. And these are creature comforts, but it's fun stuff. We joke about the $200 Peppermill, but did you think $600 coolers would sell as well as they
No,
do?
I get it. I mean, we're the same type of guys that spend $12,000 on a barbecue pit too. So, where does the line of craziness, where do you draw your line of crazy? Is it at a $200 pepper grinder? Is it a $8,000 watch? Is it a $10,000 barbecue pit? I mean, everybody's got their own, where their money is best fit.
Well, we all like really nice stuff. We're guys, and that's just how it works. So if there's a better one, that's what I've seen with the barbecue guys over the years. It's just amazing. And it doesn't matter what the tool is and how much it costs. If it's the best one and everybody else buys one, you're sure going to get one.
All right, Ray. Enough chatter. Let's start putting them to the test.
Oh, I'm ready.
So we're going to do the fill test first. Then we're going to do the nighttime grinding test because my daughter's off camera here, and I'm sure she's
excellent. Now, I've already filled mine. I didn't
do.
know we were doing a fill test, so I've already filled mine.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick fill. We'll see how long it goes. Marley, do a very non-technical count. When I say go, just start counting in your head. And then when I tell you to stop, you give me the amount of seconds. So this will be a very non-technical fill time. And let me get my camera shot here. Okay, ready, set, go. Don't want the peppers to run.
Very convenient.
There we go.
I'll give you that.
11 seconds right there. How about that? Yes.
Very nice.
Seconds.
Mine would be similar though, because it pops off really. It pops in the middle, and I don't know that it's quite the quantity, but it's plenty.
Yeah, that was that's quite a deep cavity there. I mean, that took quite a bit.
What kind of beer will you be drinking during the grind-off?
I probably won't be drinking any beer, of course, but we'll see about that. Just 1 second, Dr. Barbecue. So, all right, so
I'll be drinking an old style, just in case you're wondering.
Let's go old style. Wow. Let's go to the let's see. Can I do this? We're going to go to the grind off here, and let's do grind option. So let's see your finest, and then you go through yours. See if you can press them down there. I'm going to go through mine. I'm already at.
Are you going to do all 36?
No, I'm going to go like every 4 or 5, and then.
Okay.
Here. All right.
That's my fine right there. It's very nice, very fine.
Okay.
And I mean, right there is enough pepper for a pot of stew. So, speed is kind of not a thing.
Okay. I'm making different piles here so we can see.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now.
You did not go for the custom setup where you could have your beer and your grinder.
No, I didn't. So, like right here is the finest. Then I did like 6 or 7 clicks up. That was next. 6 or 7 up from there, and then this was fully open for black pepper, and that was 2 turns, 2 manual turns. So quite a decent amount of pepper there. So let me go ahead.
There's my course right there.
All right.
And there's the middle is where I generally keep it. I like a little bit of texture to my pepper, but not completely.
All right, so now we're going to do, Marley's going to count to 15 in her head, and we're going to go mass grind off. We're going to see what it looks like. So do you need to change your thing out, or are you just going to go into the measuring cup there, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll just pour this off into the measuring cup.
All right. I can tell everybody is at a fevered pitch here in the chat room. Everybody's very excited to see how this is going to go.
Are they excited about it? Yeah.
Yeah. You bet.
They're deciding, are they getting their credit cards flinching right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
ready?
So we're just going grind off? Yep.
1, 2, 3, go.
Now look at how nice my 9 LED lights. You can see mine in the light very nicely. If you happen to be camping, you could be grinding this excellent pepper.
Stop. All right. Wow. I have, I believe, what they call. So let's see. There's, let me blow it up. There's Ray's pile there, and then I don't want to say I kicked your ass, Ray, but there is a substantial amount of pepper right there. I mean, that is insane. Wowee. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure why I would need that much pepper unless I was doing a whole brisket. However, I'm not here to, besmirch my favorite peppermill at the moment, but that's a lot of pepper. So if you need a lot, that's certainly getting you there.
It looks like volume is definitely going to be your thing, and I'm willing to concede that one. However, I probably got more pepper than I'm going to use all day tomorrow on Thanksgiving or Thursday on Thanksgiving that I ground in the 10 seconds. So I'm comfortable with the quantity, and I got to enjoy a beer while I was grinding, and you did not.
I did not, but as luck would have it, A, I don't drink, so no problem, and then B, I didn't break a sweat cracking all that pepper either, so it really, those grinders really get through it. Also, notice this, the pepper cannon does come with this nice little cup that fits underneath here, so if you wanted to grind directly into the cup, I believe this was 1/3 of a cup measurement, so it has that nice little feature alongside with it. Now, let's do something that I know I can't do, but we have to show this because, you got it and I don't. The grind-off at night. So Marley's going to be going around the backside here and turning off all the lights. So for anybody watching, don't go nuts here because it's going to be very dark here in just 1 second. She's got to get the studio lights off here. Other one. There you go. So now we're turning off here. Get a little traveling music going on here while we wait for Marley to get the lights on. Yeah. Soon it's going to be really dark. And then I'm either going to have a mess of pepper somewhere or not.
I don't blame me for this part of the segment.
All right, ready? Set.
I'm ready.
Go. Well, look at that. All right.
You clearly see mine. I don't know what's going on with you.
Yeah, well.
You forgot to change cameras. But...
Let's wait for the light to come on.
Oh, wait a minute. I see pepper on the table there because in the dark you missed your plate. Mine stayed in this nice tight pile here, so.
Yeah, see? Look at that. It's a little bit of
clearly a problem.
Yeah.
The light would have saved you that. That's
yeah, no doubt. All right. So now I feel like people in other countries would want to hit me because I've wasted a tremendous amount of pepper here, but that's all right.
I've got mine ground for the whole day of Thanksgiving, so I'm good.
So we got about a minute left, Ray, and we've done it all. I think coverage from a coverage standpoint, we might agree that we would be at a push here from either you hold it up high enough, you get your grind right. I think coverage is going to be good. So, in your estimation, who takes the cake tonight for best pepper grinder, the Black Rain or the Pepper Cannon?
I have not been convinced that the Black Rain isn't still the nicest high-end pepper grinder. It looks really nice. It's the kind of thing you would like to have around the house. I mean, it looks nice. It looks like you've got a $200 pepper grinder in your house. I think it's in the light and it just looks classier to me and works just as well or better. The only thing you got me on is the volume, but I don't need a cup of ground pepper. And even if I did, I could do it. So I'm staying with the Black Rain as the best. What are you thinking?
All right. So Ray is with the, oh crap, I thought I caught it, is with Black Rain. Now, I have had the Pepper Cannon longer than the Black Rain. I have used the Black Rain extensively ever since I've had it. There are a few things that worry me as far as the Black Rain. One is the fact that from time to time when I go to adjust the grind, I've disconnected the body, like where you would go to fill it. So you got to make sure that you are holding it. You don't want to hold it up here Sorry. You don't want to
Yeah,
hold
but
it up here.
you
You got to hold it down here in order to make the grind adjustment because I've pulled that body off a couple different times. And then, and I guess that's it. I could make an argument that I want to have the ability to have that many grind adjustments if I'm paying $200 instead of being limited to 5, but to live in contradiction because that is what I do best. Perhaps taking 36 options out of your hands isn't such a bad idea, so I don't think Jimmy missed the mark on that. But if I'm going to spend $200, I guess in the end I want those options. So by a hair, I would say the pepper cannon probably takes it for me. Although, from an aesthetic standpoint, I agree with you. Black Rain is certainly great. And by the way, not only does it come in that nice chrome or high polish, you have an option of red. If you want it, you can see it right here, and this is how it actually shows up with the charging cord, the unit itself, and also a bottle of pepper if you'd want. I believe there's also a black option as well. So by a hair, it's Black Rain, but I mean either or. And especially as I had mentioned in the open, where we are now in this point of year, if you got somebody you really like or somebody that really loves pepper like we do and you feel like splurging, $150 for the Black Rain now, although it does say $199 with a slash out going down to $149 at this point. That could change. I'm just going to say both of them are in that $200 range. You can't go wrong with both. And if you like Ray better, you go with the Black Rain. You like me better, you probably go with the Pepper Cannon. And both are winners, I guess, serving this very small niche.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think there's Jimmy wanted us to show that picture. He said there's very few red ones. There's silver and black, but it's nicely packaged for a gift. And any foodie in your life, any dad that barbecues, if you're thinking, what the heck am I going to buy him for Christmas? I think either one of these would be a great gift.
No doubt. Ray, I always appreciate the time, and I hope you and Sandy and everybody that is going to be hanging around you Thursday have a great Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you in the new year, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Greg. It was fun, man.
All right, take care. There he is. Ray Lampe right there. Can you believe we finally executed the very first $200 Peppermill challenge on the show? You never thought it was going to happen, but it certainly did. And without issue, was perhaps one of the best segments we've done on the show, at least this week. Hey! Derrick Riches is in the green room, and he's ready to go. We'll get his journalistic opinion about the $200 Peppermill Challenge when we get back, amongst other things. Did you know that Big Papa Smokers is the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue? A curated selection is what's existing there at BigPapaSmokers.com. Popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit. 13 perfectly balanced flavors will transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. If you're cooking to impress judges or friends or family, you're in luck because Big Papa Smokers will help you do just that. They also own Granny's Barbecue Sauce. So if you're looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everybody, Granny's traditional yet powerful flavors remind us of why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. And aside from the rubs and sauces, they are selling cookers, and you know this. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out that Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker, Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offering special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers or you don't know what kind of grill you need, why not call them? 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, or shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. We are back with Derrick Riches right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Ray Lampe for joining us last segment for the Peppermill Grind-Off. This portion being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. It is the fourth Tuesday of the month, and that means it's time to go to the hotline and welcome in the most respected name in barbecue journalism to date. He's also an author, and he runs a website, and he's here on the show the fourth Tuesday of the month. It's Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, Derrick Riches. Hey, Derrick.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
I am absolutely fabulous. All right, Derrick, so you are a journalist of the highest order. I don't know how much of the highly touted and hotly anticipated $200 Peppermill Grind-Off you got to take in, but what do you think? Are we just throwing darts at the wall at this point, trying to clean up 2022, or is there a market?
Oh, of course there's a market. There'd probably be a market for a $500 pepper grinder. There probably is one.
You think?
I don't know. I'm
not going to say that
that
$200 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but $500 for a pepper grinder does sound like a lot of money.
Yeah, at that point, it's probably just decorative. I love black pepper. I have a grinder, which I probably bought in a grocery store for $10.
But it doesn't look like this. Black,
it does not look like that.
anodized aluminum, I mean, and it could also bash your head in if I hit you with it.
Well, I've always wanted one of those like 3-foot like pepper grinder things.
Yeah.
They have in like the
COVID safe pepper grinders.
Yeah, put it, that you can display, kind of having a rack on the side. That would be cool.
Yeah.
The thing for me is I buy black pepper at different meshes because it's more consistent that way than if you run it through a grinder. And, so I think I've got 4 different grinds of black pepper in the cupboard. And the one I use is dependent upon its application. If I'm doing an injection or, if it's something that needs to be smooth, like a marinade or a soup or something like that, that's really fine. But I have like a 10 grind, which is basically just cracked, which I use for, put on steaks or, that sort of thing. So I go that route myself.
Derrick, I feel like 2022 has been a year like no other as far as you coming out as Derrick Riches the cook. Certainly we've known all of your workings in the journalistic portion of your career, but you've done books now and you are going through your website and there's a huge recipe section. Obviously you're married to somebody that is also into cooking and recipe development, creation, all this fun stuff. So it's kind of an everyday thing for you. But did you make it a point this year to really flex the culinary muscle and leave a little bit of the journalistic work behind?
It's just kind of, that's the way the year's kind of gone. I mean, we did 2 books in a little over a year, and it was start to finish like 18 months from the beginning of the first one to the publishing of the second one. And that's just, that just occupies a lot of your entire life. So yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot more of that stuff, I guess. I've got journalistic pieces, like 4 of them, kind of waiting around, but it's not that it has been a slow news year. There's been certainly plenty of things, but not a lot of fruition on stuff. And I mean, certainly you and I have talked a lot about the Traeger stocks and Weber stocks and all of those sort of things. But yeah, I've been doing a lot more cooking this year and a lot more food stuff. So
Thanksgiving's Thursday. Do you have any last second tips or Are you getting asked things today, yesterday, like, oh shit, I'm in a jam, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean that always comes up. I mean, every year, um, people just start dashing out the emails, and it's usually just it's that panic. It's you didn't think ahead. Um, that's the number one problem with Thanksgiving is that most people will cook one turkey a year and expect somewhere on Tuesday to kind of figure out what they're going to do.
As in take it out of
I'm always
take it out of the freezer on Tuesday, or just trying to figure out how to actually cook it?
buy it.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Honestly, go to the grocery store tomorrow. Watch the number of people buying turkeys. It's hilarious. And that's just the biggest thing. And it's just, it comes down to that. Can I get it thawed in time? Can I get it prepped in time? Can I get it flavored in time? I always said, look, you need to have a game plan by Saturday. You need to be thawing by that point, because most people have frozen turkeys. It's kind of the shame of it. It's one of the reasons why I tend to buy them off season and cook them not for Thanksgiving, because you can typically get something better. But yeah, it's like, you have to adjust depending upon what kind of time you're going to put into stuff. I mean, I've always been a brine person myself. Had that for many, many years, and that's the way I always do turkeys. But you've got to, if you're wet brining, you've got to be at that probably now. And if you're dry brining, you should have started Sunday. So
the poll that I have going on in the YouTube chat, I have, will you brine or inject or both to your turkey on Thursday? 38% saying they will brine, 25% saying they will inject, 38% saying they will do both. So there's a tie between brine and both. Does that surprise you?
No, I mean, I do both when I do a turkey. For me, the brining is kind of laying in your groundwork and your salt and your hydration. And your injection is, adding that extra layer of flavor. Oh, I'll do brine, injection, and then, like a deep rub. So, and that goes under skin, not over.
You take off the skin altogether?
I don't take it off, but I work it away from the body as much as possible. There's a bit of an art form to it, but you've got this large opening, and the thing of it is the skin is separated from the body at that point. You can work your way in, get your rub all the way in, and coat it from that way. And think about it from the perspective of flavoring the underside of the skin. And that way you're looking for that evenness and that consistency of the flavor. It's going to pass into the meat. So, I mean, that's my strategy is, and then typically I'll baste. So that's like 4 flavoring profiles for a turkey, but there's a lot riding on it, particularly if you're cooking for a lot of people.
Beginning of the year, Derrick, Tim McKeska was on the show, and he said where pork and beef prices might start to moderate a little bit, the one thing he started to tease out of the brisket talk before we circled back maybe a month or two later and started doing pork talk was that there was going to be a turkey issue. There was avian flu. There were scores of turkey that are going to get slaughtered in order to remain safe. I had followed back up with him maybe a month ago and asked him if this is still what we were looking at. He did confirm more or less that there were more slaughters of some bigger birds, so that the 20-plus pounders were going to be hard to get, but you were going to see a sharp increase in price over what you had seen in the past. But show me something that isn't substantially more this year than it has been decades and decades before. The question, long-windedly, is this: turkey shortage, conspiracy? Because everywhere I go, and Malcolm Reed has said the same thing on his podcast, a plethora of turkeys anywhere between 10 and 18 pounds.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I haven't seen a shortage.
So was that just a drive to get people out to buy turkeys because
I don't
there's a shortage coming?
we have gotten into this habit, this hysteria of shortages. And the second someone says, oh, there might be 1% less of something, everyone's hyping, oh my God, we're going to run out. There's not going to be enough. And I have yet to not find something I'm looking for. You know, I didn't run out of toilet paper. I didn't run out of any of that stuff. All the, you know, I have never not been able to find a brisket. I've never not been able to find, you know, there's never not been a turkey at the store I go to, or the 3 different stores I go to. I just think that it's become such a, it's become kind of like a sign of the times. I don't think there's a shortage. I'm not seeing it. Maybe, you know, prices are a little bit higher. I have seen more people, you know, I've seen more searches in just kind of the analysis on that for, you know, ham, prime rib, which, you know, that's not going to be cheap, but, you know, so a bit more of the alternative. But I haven't seen a problem with sizes. And, you know, usually when it comes to turkeys, you know, if you're cooking for a lot of people, I say skip that 24-pound bird. Get yourself a couple of 14 pounds or 16 pounds. You know, do 2. Particularly if you're cooking outdoors and you've got the space for it. You know, go that route. You're actually going to get a better turkey that way.
On November 17th, so roughly a week ago, you do a blog post about when are pork ribs done? Pork ribs internal temp. This isn't like new, but I think more and more people are coming around to buying into this. So what was the impetus for writing the article, and then tell us a little bit about it?
I just getting more and more questions on kind of like, how do I know when my ribs are done? And I think partly from the standpoint of people expecting to know, you know, it's like, oh, there's got to be a quick and easy way for me to know exactly when my ribs are done. And it's just messing with my head, seeing that go by my screen.
High tech.
And I wouldn't have seen this 10 years ago, but because of all the temperature control cookers and because of all of these temperature monitor things, people want to know what's the temp for ribs. I didn't used to think about it. You know, I mean, I used to cook 20 racks of ribs at a time and never once have it enter my head as to what the temp should be. Done is done. You know, I mean, there's an old adage of barbecue. The meat's going to tell you when it's ready. You just need to be smart enough to figure that out because it's telling you. So I tried to put this piece together to kind of say, look, there's a lot of different things you want to look for. And you can temp check ribs. You know, on beef ribs, it's another story, but pork ribs, it's a bit more of a challenge because there's not a lot of space for you to work with. But if you test along the center between the bones, about 4 different, you know, spaces between the bones, you're going to get a pretty decent idea. With spare ribs, you're going to go to kind of, you know, the standard barbecue temp around 200. I think baby backs are done a little bit faster because there's a less fat content in the meat itself. So you want to go a bit lower. You're going to get too dry. But really what I'm talking about in this piece is, you know, look at these other factors. How's the meat pull back from the bone? What do the bone ends look like? How does it bend? You know, I mean, that's, you know, the bend test is one of the old staples of barbecue. Just, you know, you'd see these old guys grab at the tongs and just see the way it flexes. And it's like when it starts to flex almost as easily as it was when it was raw, you're about done. You're done there. So this was just my way of kind of like trying to explain it in a way that I think people can understand a little bit better, because I think there's a lot of crappy information out there.
Do you believe in it? Are you somebody that tempts it, or because of your experience, you're just a pick it up in the center and look for the crack or look for pullback or all the other telltales?
I temp check things that I'm cooking rare or medium rare. I don't tend to temp check barbecue.
Do you temp chicken?
I'm looking at, yeah. Okay, we're done.
Sorry. Playing you off now.
Good grief! I didn't know my acceptance speech went that long. I tend to actually overcook chicken, so I don't worry too much about it. But I will temp check poultry just because I'm paranoid about it a little bit. As a youth, I had a bad turkey experience, which kept me sick for about a week, and that's when I learned not to trust my parents' cooking. So yeah, but no, I don't temp check a lot myself. For me, it's a matter of feel. You know, a brisket's done. You should be able to feel the way the brisket is, but that takes time, and that's the problem of it. It's like, you know, you tell that person who's just starting out, "Hey, this is when your ribs are done." It's like, no, get your thermometer, check it out, get the feel, get the look. But that's what you need to be doing. Compare that temperature with what you're experiencing. What's the color? What's the density feeling like? What's the texture feeling like? Use that as a tool to teach you how to recognize doneness in what you want to cook versus relying on it all the time. I mean, there's a myth about the precision of temperature of these thermometers. I mean, you can buy one that's accurate to 100th of a degree, but if you don't put the probe in the right place, you're off 10 degrees.
Yeah.
And your computer-controlled cooker, I mean, you and I both know fully when that thing says it's 225 degrees, it could be 185 or 255 where you're actually cooking. Don't believe the numbers.
If you are interested in this particular topic, go to DerrickRiches.com. It'll be right on the homepage. You can click in and read through it. And next month, about a year after you posted it originally, I promise we will cover the topic of blue steak. I mean, it is sat down there at the bottom of the outline all year, but we will get to it next month. We'll lead with it next month, and we will finally put it to bed.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch your exchange with Sam, the cooking guy, that got so heated.
Well, I'll bust it down to you in 5 seconds. He questioned if I knew what a Pittsburgh steak was. We went back and forth. We questioned each other's manhood, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more involved, but I'll save you the time. So, figured it was a nice dovetail into that. There's also a question that's involved with that anyway. So that's what we will hit next month. And I hope you just have a great Thanksgiving. Wish everybody
health
and happiness. We'll see you in December.
All right. See you then.
There he is. Derrick Riches right there. And now we're playing him out. DerrickRiches.com is the website. So if you want to get a little bit more info on when pork ribs are done, go over to the website, DerrickRiches.com, and check it out. Or if you want to go back about a year, in December, he did a topic on blue steaks. We will talk about that in December, about a year after he originally posted it. We will be back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Derrick Riches for joining us last segment. DerrickRiches.com is his website. There's a whole bunch of turkey information, so as he was mentioning at the top of the interview, if you're somebody that is a procrastinator, you've let it hang out all the way through today on Tuesday, and you're really going to get after it tomorrow on Wednesday, 24 hours before you actually have to start cooking that Thanksgiving meal in whatever form or fashion you're going to do that. If you're going to fry the turkey, it's a little different, but don't put a fried turkey in hot oil. Don't do that. Be one of those guys on YouTube. You don't want to be one of the guys on YouTube. Trust me. His website is DerrickRiches.com. So go ahead and check that out. All right, we are heading to the second hour. Refresh your libations, as will I, and we will see you here in just a few moments. You are listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
this is Molly Stewart from Stowe, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to. Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wieners. But listen, Lavernius, shake your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. You are either watching or listening to the Barbecue Central show. We talk about the most high-level items in the barbecue and grilling industry that have transpired over the course of the week or weeks, depending on what the news cycle is doing with them or what kind of opinions I am going to be creating and disseminating out to the general public. I saw this earlier. I don't know if anybody else has even thought about doing this. Our pal Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. Crank that smoker to 600 degrees. That turkey will be ready in 1 hour and 10 minutes. Really, Joe? I don't know how many smokers get to 600 degrees. I think Joe has a Yoder's, so if you remove the heat diffuser off the burn pot, then you can probably roll the 600 degrees. I think the Oklahoma Joe Ryder DLX pellet cooker that I have, and that's the 1250 or the 1300. That can get up to 600, 650 because you can move the smoke/sear handle in the middle over to the sear portion where you get direct access to the firebox, and that'll get you towards 600. That seems like an awfully high temperature to do a turkey, but I'm not questioning you. It just is a break from the norm, so that might be another reason why we have Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue on the show, not the least of which is to track how the food trailer is going, because a month or so ago, Joe opened up a food trailer, barbecue trailer out there. Still to come on the show this evening in about 12 minutes from now, and for those two segments, the Embedded Correspondents. Doug Scheiding is already in the green room. We'll wait for John to load in, and of course, Rusty as well. What are we going to be talking about tonight? Well, we will have a round of 100% Assurity Questions, which everybody loves, and then also we will talk about the McRib sandwich. If you can believe it, I voluntarily went to McDonald's, which I haven't been to in forever, and got a McRib. And it felt dirty and sleazy. I needed a shower after it for a number of reasons. But we will all give our take on the McRib, how delicious it was, how non-delicious it was, what was good about it, what was bad about it. It's on its farewell tour, as we all know. So we'll talk about that. And then we will also talk about the Beyond Meat seared steak tips. That might be more of a issue on conversation, but we'll all come to find out about it here in about 15 minutes from now as we work into the Assurity Questions. By the way, if you are somebody that likes to take part in the Assurity Questions, there's a couple people in the clubhouse room there. Be ready to go if you want to do it, or if you are listening through some other live streaming platform that isn't Clubhouse and you want to get into the 100% Assurity Questions pick, get on over to Clubhouse, sign up, follow the show along, and then if I invite you up on stage, make sure you are unmuted, and away we go. We say good evening to those of you watching the show tonight through one of our streaming video platforms. You can go to Facebook and Twitch/BBQ Central Show. You can also head on over to YouTube/RD Rempe, where you can watch the show there. That room also has a chat room as we look at The poll question for the show this evening, will you brine or inject or both to your turkey on Thursday? 55% of you now are saying that you will brine it. 18% say you will inject it, and 27% are saying that you will do both. So where there was a tie a little bit earlier in the show, brining is taking over with 55% of the vote. We'll see how that changes through the rest of the second hour here. We also say good evening to all of those using our audio streaming platform, Clubhouse. So if you'd rather hear us instead of watch us, Clubhouse is the way to do that. There's also a chat room in the Clubhouse app, too. So if you want to chat along with some of the other fellow Clubhousers, you can do that. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is, oh, dear. I think I screwed the pooch on this one, gang.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Now everybody's going to have to hang out for a hot second while I figure this out. Stand by. Right. That's right. Well, we figured it out. It's actually episode 256 coming to you. Given everything that's happened since Saturday morning, I didn't do the write-up for this yet. However, I quickly dashed over to my Dropbox, where executive producer of the show, John Solberg, / Michigan Embedded Correspondent, drops all the finished shows and all of his production work in there, and we share a folder together. I only needed to see one word to take me all the way back to the topic du jour of Friday. And what would that be? Does anybody remember the show where I uttered this word? Nadkins. Yeah. Nadkins, as in napkins for your nads, as in not feminine hygiene products, but male hygiene product for your balls, ladies and gentlemen.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I'm not sure if Nadkins is still an item that you can go out and buy anywhere. I'm not going to even bother firing up the Googles and going to nadkins.com to see if that's something that a friend of mine might be getting during the holiday season. What's one to think? If I'm sitting at somebody's house for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I gift one of my best pallies Nadkins, like let's say I'm spending Christmas with Rusty, and I'm going to give him a bottle of rub and give him something else really expensive, and one of those gifts is a package of Nadkins. I mean, I would imagine anybody that gets that package, we're using Rusty as an example, he would be like, what is he saying? Is he saying that my nads smell? How would he know? He's never been around that general area enough to know if my nads smell or not. And meanwhile, I'm just like, hey, seems like a pretty cool gift. I'm just going to give this to all my guy pals. Whether they stink around that general area or not, Nadkins are the gift du jour for this holiday season. But you have potential of offending somebody. So if you're going to go to Nadkins, whatever website that is, again, I don't know if it's even still available, but assuming it is, this is striking a chord with you. You want to give it up to one of your best pals. Make sure you walk that line to know that this isn't well, maybe it is. Maybe you're really good pals with your friend. I don't want to speak for anybody here. Maybe you got a pal that's got a really rancid sack and he needs Nadkins at the worst, okay? Maybe that's it. I don't know. You're like, hey, pal, you got rotten crotch. Here's Nadkins. Merry Christmas. And everybody's going to thank us as long as you use these. Maybe you're that kind of a person. I would choose not to associate somebody with somebody that is overly crotch smelling, like on a consistent, but sometimes you can't help it. Other times, but consistently, Yeah, that's, work on where your friend group is. You might want to thin the herd a little bit. Or maybe they're just a gas, no pun intended, and you want to keep them around. So what are you going to do? You've expressed, hey, maybe you should shower more than once. Try a little talcum powder down there around the balls. No, slip them a mystery pack of Nadkins. Why not? That could be it. We'll see how it goes. By the way, if you are going to go to Google and check this out, because I'm not, if it's still a thing, please let me know. I would love to know if Nadkins are a thing, but if you don't know anything about it, then you will learn about Nadkins this coming Friday. What do you have to do in order to hear it? You have to be a member or a subscriber to the show podcast feed. And you can do that by going to the website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and clicking subscribe. Not newsletter. Next to it says subscribe. And then you will find out all the ways you can subscribe to the show. And if you don't use a podcast platform, there is an email option. So you give it your email address, and then when the feed updates, it will send you an email to the latest edition of the show, and you can listen that way. So if you don't want to mess around with podcast players, fine. Know this. Come hell or high water on Friday, you're going to learn about Nadkins whether you want to or not. How about that? The Embedded Correspondents are ready to rock and roll, at least. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Doug was blending into the background of his banner there. Lost him. Green Mountain Grill, some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. A couple different lines to choose from, a choice line, a prime line. If you're not somebody that needs all the bells and the whistles, the accoutrement, choice line. That's the one you want to do. Accommodates a lot of meat. Really great cooker. I have 2 in the backyard right now. I've had them for multiple years, 10 plus. They work really well. And that's all they do. They're just really well-working barbecue cookers. If you want to add a little money to that, go Prime Line. A little bit more of a robust build on the chassis. Got some extra stuff like internal meat probes. You got the Wi-Fi. You got app connectivity. So if you want to adjust the temperature of your cooker up or down, you can do it without having to go outside and adjusting it on your cooker. You can do it right from your chaise lounge. If you want to turn it off from the app, you can do that. If you want to turn it on from the app, you can do that. But make sure the cover's off. What can't you do? I don't know. Plus, they have some great accessories that you can get at greenmountaingrills.com. Plus, some other really cool companies make third-party cool additions, like Pimp My Grill. You should check those guys out, too. They make some really great stuff for a lot of the Green Mountain Grill lines. However, only sold through dealers, so got to visit a dealer. GreenMountainGrills.com to find a dealer near you. Then go touch and feel and learn and educate. Talk to the sales guy out there. Once you figure out which one is best for you, take it home and know that you're going to have success right out of the back. Why? Because you were educated. No buyer's remorse here. They're not about that. GreenMountainGrills.com. That's GreenMountainGrills.com. We're back. The Embedded Correspondents right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by the Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes, a host of accessories. Whether you're a beginner or a professional, it doesn't matter. Cooker you want to add to the arsenal, visit pitbarrelcooker.com. Tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. And know this, in a week's time, not only will we have Chris Lilly for Big Bob Gibson's in the first hour. In the second hour, we will have Noah Glanville, co-founder of Pit Barrel Cooker. So look forward to that. All right, gang, it is the 4th Tuesday of the month in the second hour, and that can only mean one thing. We race to the hotline and welcome back the gang, the Embedded Correspondents right here. Well, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Right to the right of me, if you're looking at the screen, is Doug Scheiding from Texas, longest-running Embedded Correspondent. Directly below me, John Solberg from Michigan, the executive producer of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. And then caddy corner down from me, right below Doug, is Rusty Monson, the pitmaster of Salt City Barbecue and the same named barbecue trailer, which we still have to do a interview before the year ends, Rusty, so I will hold you to that if I can remember. From the great city of Utah, Rusty Monson is right there. So, gang, we have a new round of 100% Assurity questions to get down on. So allow me to head on over to the clubhouse and see if we can't get Steve Schuyler up here to join us, and he can give his answers to the 5 or 6 questions that I have going on at this point. I'm not sure if he's going to take the bait here or not. Steve, you're not there by any chance, are you? No, of course not. So we'll see. Oh, wait, Steve, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, all right. All right, keep your mic open. We'll be coming to you through rotation as we answer the 100% Assurity questions. Steve, are you a fan of the show? Do you know how this works?
I'm a fan of the show, but I don't know how this works.
All right. Well, let me explain it to you very quickly. I will ask a question, and it will start with this: 100% yes or 100% no, blah, blah, blah. Steve. And then you will say 100% yes, or you will say 100% no. That's all we're looking for. We're not looking for a long, involved answer. This is a whore's game, and we are trying to win.
Got it.
So, Steve, since you are up in the clubhouse, we will start with you this evening. 100% yes or 100% no. In general, turkey is overrated.
In general, 100% no.
All right. Get that free stuff out of here. John Solberg from Michigan, 100% yes or 100% no. In general, turkey is overrated.
I'm going with Steve. 100% no. It is not overrated.
Not overrated. Rusty, turkey overrated?
Hell no. It's badass.
Doug, overrated?
100% yes.
And I will round it out here, and I feel like Doug and I are curmudgeons from another mother. I agree, 100% yes, turkey far overrated. Nevertheless, we go to the next one. We'll stick with Doug. Doug, 100% yes or 100% no. Stuffing is the best side dish for Thanksgiving.
100% no, especially if it has cornbread.
All right. Especially if it has cornbread. Putting an exclamation point on. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no. Stuffing is the best dish for Thanksgiving.
It's the worst. Number one worst.
It's the worst. Wow. Smacking a double exclamation point on it. Steve Schuyler, stuffing is the best side dish for Thanksgiving.
Hell no.
Hell no. Wow. People outdoing themselves with exclamation points. John Solberg from Michigan, stuffing is the best side dish for Thanksgiving. 100% yes or 100% no.
I am definitely the outlier. It is the only thing you need to have at Thanksgiving.
All right. And much like I was with Doug, I'm with John. Yes, stuffing is the best for Thanksgiving. No doubt about it. All right, next question. Number 3. We'll stick with John on this one. John, 100% yes or 100% no. Competition barbecue will never recapture the popularity it once had a number of years back.
It's one of those, I got to read the question again. It will never, ever achieve the popularity it did. So what does that mean? 100% yes, it will never recapture.
All right. Steve Schuyler, competition barbecue will never recapture the popularity it once had a number of years ago.
100% yes.
All right. Scary. We're coming to a majority. Rusty Monson, 100% yes or 100% no. Competition barbecue will never recapture the popularity it once had a number of years back.
Never, sadly.
Wow. We're on our way to a quorum. Douglas.
100% yes.
Wow. Well, it doesn't often happen, ladies and gentlemen. But I do believe we have what we call a 5-peat. I am with you guys 100% yes, it will never recapture the popularity it once had. By the way, it breaks my heart to say that because I thought maybe a year ago we were going to start trending back into that direction. But at least as we close out 2022, by the way, rapidly coming to a close, we're not going to be there yet. I'm holding out a modicum of hope, but not enough to swing me off the 100% yes answer that I just gave. All right, let's go to Rusty Monson to lead off this time. Rusty, 100% yes or 100% no? The majority of barbecue influencers on social media, no names please, are hacks.
100% no.
Oh, all right. Get that big stuff out of here. Douglas, barbecue influencers, on the whole, hacks.
I changed my original answer, and I'm going to go 100% yes.
Oh, he was a no to begin with. Wow. Well, we might have to dig into that in the post-Assurity question dig-in there. John Solberg, 100% yes or 100% no? The majority of barbecue influencers on social media, no names please, are hacks.
Doug is 100% right. They absolutely are 100% hacks.
Oh, my. Steve, barbecue influencers are hacks.
Hack daddy. Hack daddy.
I'm sorry, Steve, you broke up. Yes or no?
Sorry. 100% yes
All
or
right.
hack.
Oof. All right. That, now we bring it to Rusty. Did we start with you, Rusty?
Yeah, but you didn't finish. You need to finish it.
I will finish it. 100% yes or 100% no? The majority of barbecue influencers on social media, no names please, are hacks. Yes. Am I a jealous bastard? Maybe a little. Maybe a little. But some of the stuff, all right, we're not going to dive into the weeds here on this one. All right, we'll go back with Steve to close it out. This is the last one. Steve, joining us through Clubhouse. 100% yes or 100% no? Thanksgiving is the best food holiday of the year. Question courtesy of Doug Scheid.
100% yes.
Oh, all right. John, yes or no?
No.
Nope. Right. Rusty, yes or no?
Nope.
Whoa. Okay. I'll go next and leave it up to Doug. I'm with you guys. Nope. Doug, to close it out, 100% yes or 100% no? And the question you asked, Thanksgiving is the best food holiday of the year.
The answers have surprised me, but I'm a no as well.
No. All right, Steve. Well, we're not telling you you're wrong, but you're wrong. Of course, I'm just kidding. Steve, appreciate you joining us here this evening. Have a great Thanksgiving, my friend.
You as well. Thank you, guys.
You got it. That's Steve joining us via Clubhouse. Let me see where we are time-wise here. All right, we got some time. Doug, I wanted to dig into one of the answers that you gave. Oh, all right. So originally, you were on board that, or you were against the majority of barbecue influencers on social media being hacks. You were going to go with a no, but then you changed to yes. What changed your mind?
What drives me crazy is when people do briskets and they are shaped rectangularly, right? But the grain never goes from left to right or up and down. So what they do is they basically cut the brisket in half and not against the grain, and then they stack it on top of each other.
You mean they're cutting it to where they think the flat runs out and where the point starts, and then they stack them on top of each other?
They're cutting it left to right in a rectangular, and the grain goes from top, usually from bottom left to top right.
Yeah.
And they're not cutting against the grain. What person in their right mind would do that other than to show a picture for Instagram?
So does that make them hacks?
Yes.
All right. John, do you agree with that?
I don't disagree with that at all, but I was looking at it a little deeper. It's like, when we say the majority of influencers are hacks, it's, you just got to go look. I think that's a great point. There's a million points like that. It's about views. It's about free pit bosses. It's about free whatever they can get or trying to get their, hey, it's like, I don't want no names, please. Like, oh, I got this rub. I'm an info. I mean, it goes on and on and on for me. So I agree with Doug on that point as well. And you will not find many pictures that are not done that way in this day and age.
John,
and when I see it like Doug, I'm like,
to follow up with you on that, if they were getting paid money, does that change it for you? If it's not in kind rub or a cooker or whatever, that's one thing. But if it's straight up cash, does that make it different for you?
It might make them no less a hack in my mind, just because they were getting paid. So, but that's a good question. I'll have to look inward on that one. But a hack's a hack. It doesn't matter if they're getting paid or not. I don't know too many hacks that are actually getting paid other than with product.
Rusty, did you say most of them were hacks too?
I don't think they are at all.
Right.
Actually, and I'm going to say because they might be a little fluffy, but that's also people who are legitimate cooks using extreme filters on their food. To me, it's the same thing. You're trying to get a look and get someone's attention, but I think Susie Bullock proved that they're not, and because these people are cooking a lot of food and a lot of variety all the time, and they're probably more versed in food than most of us because it's a hard job to be able to get up. Doug knows this. He does it all the time. Get up and cook food all the time for what you got going on. It's a hard thing to do. It's a full-time job for some. So there's no way that they cannot be good at what they do unless they're complete, and so the majority, no, I think they legitimately, if they start out hacks, they become pretty legit after a while because look at, no one took Susie's series on barbecue brawl and she almost won the damn thing. And it's because she's constantly cooking different food as opposed to brisket, pork, chicken, and ribs.
I would like to say this because the more we're talking about, the more that I'm throwing out the word hack and no names, please, and majority, we're not naming anybody by name. So perhaps it would show a lot more testicular fortitude on my part to have worded the question, who do you think the biggest hack is? Start naming names, and we're not going to do that. However, I don't think it's fair, now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, that this was probably a great question to ask because all we're doing is leaving it up for somebody to say, they're probably talking about me or they're probably talking about me. Rusty's mentioned Susie. Like that would be a name that never crosses my mind as somebody who's a hack for any number of reasons, the history, the companies she worked with, the products, and the content that she's generated. But when I look at, I'm going to throw out a name here, and this is just to ballyhoo around the dais. I think I don't know what his real name is, but I think his Instagram name is, oh crap. John, who's the guy you did the big hot dog thing with? What's his name? Max?
I have no idea.
Is it Max something?
Yeah. I could check if you like.
Crap. All right. So look, there is no doubt. There's no doubt that this guy has a huge following. I have no idea how engaged they are. I don't dig that deep into it. And all I'm trying to do in my mind when I watch his stuff is go, what are you doing? Are you making this stuff to be outrageous? And if so, why? Is it just to continue to build the Instagram following? Is it because you're building towards releasing a cookbook? Or you might be in talks about signing a cookbook and you're going to be able to leverage your audience to the publisher to get a big cash advance. If that's the case, I'm a business guy. I'm for profit. I'm as capitalist as they come. I get it. I don't see that happening. I wish I could remember this guy's name. His production value is high. His creativity is incredible. It's just like the weirdest shit I have ever seen. Not shit like it's bad, but it's just like conceptually crazy. So it's very creative, But I just don't know what he's doing. Google would probably fall into this category as well, with his dry aging of, in Spaghetti-O juice, in duck fat turds, and whatever else he's doing. The audience is there. The views are there. I don't know where it becomes hacky. That's what I'm saying. Am I making sense there, Rusty?
Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't think the majority of them are doing that.
Anybody else want to add anything before we move on?
The Backy Chef.
There's layers.
The what?
Yeah.
The Backy Chef is that Instagram channel. The Backy Chef.
Backy Chef. Okay. I thought you said the Baggy Chef. I was like, that could be me. All right. And then let's see. Was there one other competition stuffing? No. Okay, that was it. All right. So we're going to stop here, and then we will get into the McRib breakdown, which I know everybody's excited about. We're able to really dig deep onto that, and then we can talk a little bit about the Beyond Meat potential fiasco that was going on over the course of the last month. So stick around for all of that. Before we talk about that, we'll talk about Primo grills, because what do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. However, we also love that they're very fuel efficient. Fuel misers, one might say. We love that you can achieve the low and slow temperatures for those traditional barbecue meats. What's missing from the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking, very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker, it's not very realistic. Why? Because it's not round. Enter Primo Grill and their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute a two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker, so you're only limited by your imagination and your culinary wiles. Of course, last year, coming out with a host of accessories to complete that Primo Grill experience. So if you want a Primo Grill rotisserie, they have it. If you want a Primo Grill pizza accessory, they have that as well. Whole drip pans, half drip pans, rib racks, all the fun stuff. Get it over at PrimoGrill.com or a dealer near you. Much like Green Mountain Grill, Primo Grill's only sold through dealers. So find a dealer near you, check them out, see all the sizes of ovals that they have, and then pick the one that is best for you, and then hook up with the accessories. The bottom line is this: best ceramics in the biz, patented technology, true two-zone cooking capabilities, multiple sizes. Yes, to all of that. And if you just have to have a round ceramic cooker, they have those as well, but we encourage you, as we do every week, to get the oval one. Even Meathead says the Primo ceramic oval is a game changer. Two-zone format. You can do it with the oval. Get the oval. PrimoGrill.com, the website. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll be back with the Embedded Correspondents right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
The popular Smokin' with Smithfield grant program applications are currently live at smokinwithsmithfield.com. In order to help deepen prize pool, Smithfield once again will be awarding $3,000 to selected competitions. Applications are open until December 3rd. So that time is rapidly coming to a close. A couple weeks left to get them in. Also, Smithfield is once again sponsoring their Committed Cooks program in 2023, looking for teams to be committed to cook with Smithfield products during 2023 season. Participating teams receive swag kits, coupons, and surprises through the season. You can sign up at the same place that you would at the Smithfield grant, which is smokinwithsmithfield.com. All right, we're back with the Embedded Correspondents here. And at the end of last month, gang, I said we are throwing caution to the wind, out the doors, down the alley, whatever you want to put on top of this. Because what did we hear couple months ago. Well, the McRib is back out, much to my horror, much to Rusty's joy. But attached to that this was going to be the farewell tour of the McRib, at least here in the States. They said if you wanted to have it every day, you were going to have to move somewhere in Germany where those particular McDonald's restaurants have all of the specialty stuff that McDonald's ever offered every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I don't think Rusty's committed to moving to Germany just yet. However, I said, hey, why don't we all go ahead to the McDonald's over the next 4 weeks, grab a McRib, and try it for the first time or try it again for the first time in years and see what we think about it. So let's go to the longest running embedded correspondent, Doug Scheiding from Texas. Doug, let's start with this. When was the very first time you ever had a McRib, and how long has it been since you've had it?
When did we do the last survey of this thing? Was it
we never did
3
it
years ago?
We've never done a McRib survey. Oh, no, never. I would never allow it.
Oh, okay, okay. So the answer would be, I think I've had one, and it was probably 3 to 4 years ago.
All right. So within the last 4 years of you consuming that one, what did you think of this one? And give us the whole breakdown of the McRib.
When I went and ordered, I went through the drive-thru. It was $4.55 for one, and then she said, "Oh, it's for $6. You can get two." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get two, but throw in a basket of fries with that because I just wanted to have a backup." Your picture that you posted, it looked huge. When I got it, I was like, "Man, this is smaller than I really expected." That's what she said. But the sauce was not bad. The sauce was not bad, but it was on the McRib and not on the top of the bun. And I got pickles and onions, and so that blocked all the sauce on the top of the bun. The bread was thinner than the actual McRib itself, and it was very chewy. Pickle is the primary flavor, then onion. I tasted the McRib by itself, and there was no discernible flavor this year. The last time I remembered it kind of being salty and tasting, having more the texture of like a breakfast sausage. So I didn't really get much of a flavor. It was like, chicken or turkey, if you will. It was a chore to eat the second one the next day. I ate most of the meat and then threw the rest to the deer.
Doug, you let it sit overnight and went back to it?
Well, I put it in the refrigerator, of course. It was the second one. It was the second one.
Wow.
You can't eat dedicated. You can't eat two, that's for sure.
You could throw it out.
So I tried it again. It was a chore to eat it. It's good it's once a year because you forget how bad it was after a year and you say, it can't be that bad. Well, it is.
Huh.
That's my review.
So not a fan. All right, now let's go for potentially competing thought and go to Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah, a well-known honk of McRib. Rusty, we know the last time you had McRib was the last time that they were available. So I don't know if you remember from a year ago or not, was there any discernible difference between the last ones and this one? And then give us the full breakdown.
So I can do it both with giving the breakdown. But yeah, last year, man, the bun was soft. The McRib was flavorful. It's got a good consistency. I feel like there was more barbecue sauce on it or something, man. It was fantastic. I loved it. Last year was fantastic. I went this year and I got two because I was so excited. Not because it was a deal, just because I'm about to eat this bitch. And I was going to have two back to back because I was so excited. So I don't go to my normal McDonald's. I grab one. I take my first bite and go, oh, that's not good. And I take my second bite and go, still not good. This is weird. So I eat it. Get to the second one. Not good. Like the consistency's off. The flavor wasn't there at all. And it didn't taste right. I'm like, this doesn't taste like a McRib. So my thought was, listen, I didn't go to my normal McDonald's. Let me go in a couple days to my normal McDonald's. And I did. And I went to my ladies who I go to, once or twice every morning when I'm heading to work. And I got just one, because I was scared now. And I bit into it right away. And sure enough, man, it sucked.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't good. And I was like, this sucks. And so my only thought is this. It is their last tour. And I know that because they're trying to turn people like me off. So we will stop talking about it and shut up. That's my theory.
Wow. So you think they're trying to chase you off, detox you as they are making their last rounds?
Yep. So we'll stop writing in and
right.
emailing them to bring it back.
Wow. Perhaps not a bad effort in their marketing department. John, we go to you. Last time you had one, if you can remember it, how it compares to the one you just had, and then the full breakdown.
I'm going to go all the way back to my youth when the thing was new. I'm
It was
gonna
like
start there real
84.
quickly and say, yeah, I was around. I was, I was keeping the commies off your doorstep, but that's a whole other story. That's like, it was amazing sandwich back then. It was absolutely fantastic. All right, it was great. A year, and I want to be a fan of the fans of the McRib. I'm not a hater on it at all. I roll with Rusty. A year or so ago, I got one. Was not the sandwich of my youth. Had an awful lot of sauce on it. Too much sauce for me, but the bun was soft. The meat had a nice texture. It was an okay sandwich a year ago. Mine this year, it was not so good. The texture was not good in the meat. There was not a lot of sauce on it, which I was actually relieved because it was over sauced the last time. I think the pickles and the onions had a nice balance, but the meat wasn't. It was just not the same patty. And I just said I'm not going to try it twice. I thought it was dry. I thought the bun was dry, small. This year, totally different than last year. Total opposite direction. Not a good sandwich. So many other better choices for McDonald's for the money.
And now that brings it to me. I don't remember the last time that I had a McRib. It was probably sometime in high school. So that would go ahead, Doug. You're on mute.
Sorry, I apologize. I have a rant of you from November of 2020 on how much you hate the McRib.
Because I had just recently had one?
Yes. Yes. I think we've done this before, but I could be wrong because I think that was the only time I had it.
Well, even at 2017, that's 5 years ago, I have no culinary recollection of the McRib from that point. So it obviously didn't make a positive mark in my brain to want to remember it and chase it like Rusty was. I mean, Rusty chased twice. He was going law of diminishing return, and it was playing up textbook, each one worse than the next. So I went to the McDonald's that was right by where my Peterbilt corporate office is, and on the takeout menu, here's what it looks like. I mean, this thing looks majestic. It's got what I would call aesthetically attractive onion slivers on it, although I would never eat those. And you can see the pickles underneath. You have what I would call nicely sauced McRib meat patty on there, and then the special bun that they use. And then this is the actual container that it came in. Mine was heavily sauced. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there's already sauce from my finger right below the McRib box right there, and you can kind of see it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. You can kind of see it right here on the box. So that got there when they were closing it. Open it up to reveal, yes, an overly sauced McRib patty. You can see the stains on either side of the box. There's also one on the top lid there towards the back. And then with the top off, I mean, again, I don't I thought I remembered it being a lot more rectangular. You can see here where the edges kind of are poking in, then they're coming out, then they're going in like diamond shapes or fencing or something along these lines. And then you have this bullshit thing that's supposed to be a rib that went through the press there. But it is anemic. It's thin. It's not substantial. And I think that was the last picture that I had there, so that's fine. So that's what mine looked like aesthetically. It wasn't bowling me over by any stretch of the imagination. And in the end, what do I take away from it? The best thing about the McRib, the best thing, running away with it, hands down, stone cold lead pipe winner, the bun. Look, what do we always say? If the bun is the best thing about the sandwich, you got a piece of shit sandwich on your hands.
Get that big stuff out of here.
But it was great. It was soft. It was delicious. I liked the whatever the hell's on top of it. It had a nice little textural a crunch on it, some kind of seeds of some shit, or I don't know what the fuck it is. And then the meat itself was just not even there. It was there texturally, kind of like not a stiff board, but like a sponge, like the old square sponge you used to wash your dishes with, like that kind of a texture. It didn't soak the spit out of my mouth, but it just wasn't. If it wasn't there, I don't even know if I would have missed it. I could have eaten the bun and barbecue sauce. I could have had a barbecue sauce sandwich, and it might have been better because I kept waiting for some kind of either real pork or fake pork flavor to come over, or breakfast sausage, I think like Doug had mentioned earlier, but it wasn't there. And the sauce, I mean, I didn't really detect liquid smoke, which really would have been terrible. However, due to my aversion of onions, I specifically ordered no onions. However, they took that to mean no onions and pickles, which is a shame because I love McDonald's pickles. I used to eat McDonald's pickles when I worked there in the morning when we were making breakfast/lunch changeover. Those were delicious. But I'm remiss that I didn't have the pickles because John kind of plays them up, that they worked and paired well with all this stuff. But, I mean, in the end, it's just bad. And I would hate to think that Rusty's onto something here where McDonald's has put out an inferior product. However, I can't discount that because unlike any other year when this thing has rolled out and been on its way for its 6-week run or 7-week one, I haven't heard anybody talk one peep about the McRib this year other than it's going away. Nobody's posting pictures on YouTube about, I got my McRib, it's the best thing ever, all that stuff. Nobody said anything about it. In fact, if I didn't make this mandate, I would have forgotten that it was available and it just would have went away forever. And we'll see what happens for here. Let's go quickly back around the room just for shits and giggles. Doug, after December, whatever the cutoff date, we will never see this sandwich again. Yes or no?
No.
Oh. Right. John, we will never see this sandwich again after the cutoff.
No.
Rusty, we will never see this sandwich again after the cutoff this year.
That made me sad, John. It sounded like your friend was going away forever. No, it's gone. It's gone, man. It's true because they're trying to get us away.
Wow.
Trying to get us out of it.
I'm going against the grain. I think that this has been such a success. Early 80s, maybe late 70s, but early 80s for sure. I think 84. I don't think they're going to take it away. I think they're telling us, much like a Kiss reunion tour, I think this thing is it might be gone for a year, but in 2 years' time, they might take it out of retirement and trot this bitch back around one more time. I think this thing, we have not seen the last of this thing. Doug, go ahead.
I agree with you. It was a double negative question. It said, don't see it ever again. So
Doug agrees. All right. Then we have to go back around. Now,
it was a double negative.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Maybe I need to have a professional question writer coming in and stop working off the top of my head. John, did you answer the question the way you wanted to answer it?
Right. We're up against the clock. The sandwich will be back. I agree with you.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Yes.
Rusty, it's gone forever?
Yeah, it's gone forever, man.
Oh! Wow. Right. Rusty knows best. All right, guys, before we head out of here, we'll do a little promotion time. Oh, by the way, the other mandate this month was for us to find Beyond Meat seared steak tips. For me, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, a mecca of culinary treats. Sorry. None for me. Couldn't find it, couldn't track it down, looked online, called around, nothing. Rusty, could you find it?
No, I didn't look too hard to be fair, but I did not find it.
Doug, could you find it?
No, and I tried 3 times.
John, could you find it?
No, but found a whole lot of other cool stuff that we can talk about at some point.
Well, hopefully, I'm not going to say let's put this on the back burner for next month. We'll continue to try and find it. If one of us finds an outlet, let everybody else know. If we have, maybe it's a national chain that we all have access to, and we'll be able to figure it out. But let's table it for now, continue the search, and if we all can have access to it by the end of December, then that's where we'll lead after the 100% Assurity questions. Rusty, we go to you. Time for promotion. What are you up to?
Check out the Pitmasters podcast, guys. We're taking a break for the holidays, but you can listen to a lot of cool stuff on our backlog, so check it out.
All right. John, what are you promoting?
Best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. We don't take breaks for holidays. You can catch us every Friday in the podcast feed over at the BBQ
No days off. No days off. Doug, what are you up to?
In 2 weeks, I'll go to E3 Meat Company for a fundraiser on human trafficking with Navy SEALs. And then I'll be on the Hall of Fame discussion on the baseball and barbecue coming up later in December.
Just to be clear for anybody that didn't understand what Doug was saying, Doug is not raising funds to promote trafficking. Against.
No.
He didn't make that clear.
Human trafficking.
Against human trafficking.
Thank you.
So we just want to make sure, in case I don't want Jeffrey Epstein emails coming my way, we're not about that. We are always against human trafficking, no matter what. Against it. That's right. So as always, guys, appreciate it. Have a great Thanksgiving on Thursday, and we will see you in December as we close out the year. There they are, the Embedded Correspondents. Doug Scheiding from Texas, John Solberg from Michigan, and Rusty Monson from the great city of Utah. Before we get ready to close up shop here this evening, let's talk about Vortic watches. Back in the day, watches were made to be worn in the pocket. After World War II, wrist watches came into vogue, and pocket watches quickly became an afterthought, finding their ways into sock drawers and scrap heaps. Quite simply, a tragedy. Enter Vortic Watch Company, helping bridge the gap between America's storied watch manufacturing past and bringing it to the present day, where wristwatches are now finding incredible popularity once again. Here's the coolest part. Each watch that Vortic makes is unique and one of a kind. Vortic founded the motto that America wasn't assembled, it was built. Check out VorticWatches.com for more information. At last check, those special military edition watches are all sold out. However, there are still a handful of the traditional military versions. That would be iteration number 4. So go to VorticWatches.com/military, and you can get your hands on one of those really cool Grand Navigator watches. True 24-hour face, really cool. VorticWatches.com. That's VorticWatches.com. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we thank the Embedded Correspondents for joining me the last 2 segments. A great 100% Assurity pick round with a special guest from the clubhouse, Steve Schuyler. And then we dug into some other topics, not the least of which was a in-depth evaluation of what is supposed to be the retiring McRib. Everybody trashed it, even Rusty. Had 2, said they were bad, ate them back-to-back, and then chased with a 3rd one a little bit later, and he said even that one sucked. Of course, no surprise that John, Doug, and myself also decided to take a crap on that one, but that's just the way it is right now, and we'll see if that one comes back. 3 out of the 4 of us thought that one will be coming back at some point. However, Rusty's so disenchanted with his crappy McRibs this year, said this could be it, and he has no faith that it's going to be coming back, so we'll see how it all ends up here. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. All the way back in the first hour, we had the $200 Peppermill Grind-Off with Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe. We had the Black Rain. We had the Pepper Cannon. This one is $200 at mankitchen.com. This one. is currently sitting at $150, although it is a regular retail of $200, but you can get it a $50 discount. Ray Lampe leaning more towards the Black Rain. I was leaning a little bit more towards the Pepper Cannon. However, can you really go wrong with either of them? No. Who's going to step up and buy both of them and be like me? I didn't buy either of them. But who else would own both of them? That's what I want to know. That's the question of the day. After Ray, it was Derrick Riches, DerrickRiches.com, talking about turkey stuff, talking about if there is a market for $200 pepper grinders. And we agreed that next month we will definitely get to the blue steak talk. Also, during the conversation tonight, we talked about the internal temperature of pork ribs. So you can find that at his website, DerrickRiches.com. I subscribe to taking the temperature of your ribs at this point. So try it out if you haven't done it. Then, of course, second hour was the Embedded Correspondents. They are always here at the end of every month, the fourth Tuesday in the second hour, talking about Assurity Questions and other such live fire barbecue topics. Big show planned for you next week. Chris Lilly, full first hour. Noah Glanville, full second hour. Both of them are 2022 Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famers, so we'll talk all about that and get the backstory as well. So, how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. To my wife, Becky, I am thinking about you. And I hope everybody that is listening and watching here this evening have a great Thanksgiving. Hug the ones you love. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I am your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Yo, pod! This is Meat Mitch, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Bonk!